Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be reading your Wings of Fire headcanons. This is a highly requested video topic and I'm super excited to get to do it. You guys commented hundreds of super cool headcanons, so it's hard to just pick a few for this video. Shout out to everyone who submitted one. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. Star Cycle commented about leaf wing scales changing colors for each season. This is actually one I featured in my Wings of Fire headcanons video. I need for this to be a canon ability. It would make the tribe a lot more interesting overall, and it would just be a super neat design choice. Even if their entire scales don't shift certain colors for each season, at least a few freckles would be pretty cool. Stormjump Thunder brought up the idea of Nightwings having slit pupils, and this totally makes sense. I'm honestly surprised Dewey didn't include this, because some animals actually have eyes like this in order to have better night vision. Cats and foxes are two such examples of this. Nightwings having slit pupils would make a lot more sense and provide a reasoning for their better night vision. I wouldn't be surprised if seawing eyes ended up looking like this whenever they dove into the very deep, dark water of the sea. Then their eyes would go back to their normal size when they got up closer to the surface. Scarlet Abyss mentioned the concept of rainwings and leafwings having toes that can grip smooth surfaces like geckos. This would totally make a lot of sense, especially because both tribes are great climbers. I absolutely love the idea of rainwings and leafwings scaling trees with special claws that allow them to grip surfaces better. Lady Bug Fairybug commented about rainwings during Darkstalker's time being more like poison dart frogs rather than birds of paradise, and I immediately fell in love with this headcanon. We haven't seen much about the tribes and their cultures back then, but the rainwings were at least a little bit assertive. Rather than the lazier birds of paradise we see now, maybe back then they could have behaved more like poison dart frogs. It's such a small detail, but it's really cool when you think about it. Ava the Nature Wolf brought up something that I totally agree with, and it's that sandwings shouldn't have all black eyes. I know it's the canon design, but at least they should be able to have some shades of hazel and brown. It would provide for some more unique looking sandwings, and it would take away from some of the more boring designs. Freely stated that they feel as though icewings have antler-like horns, and I love this concept. It would provide for some different icewing designs since a lot of them just look the same to me. They don't even need to be exactly like reindeer horns, but something similar would provide so much more detail in the series. I just love imagining Wings of Fire tribes with animal-like appearances or behaviors. It's so fun to mess around with. Elisa B. commented about Anemone enchanting something to give Starflight his vision back, and this is so cool. I would have loved for a scene like this in the books, and it would have given so much more depth to Anemone's character. It could have been something she did without many dragons seeing, and she wanted to stay humble about it. It's such a sweet headcanon, I wish it was something Anemone actually did before Animus magic was taken away. Gaming Things E20 mentioned my favorite Wings of Fire headcanon of all time. The Icewings have their own fire scales, except with ice. Introducing the concept of frost scales would be one of the coolest things in the book series so far. Instead of having things burn up when they're touched, a frost scale would freeze anything they touch. I can totally see this as some kind of rare, forgotten about ability that doesn't come too often in Icewings. Emmanuel Torres said that they imagined Flame and Bigtail as being friends. This is such a wholesome one, and I'd like to imagine that Flame did end up making at least one friend at the Academy. If we got a winglet about him, maybe we could see how Bigtail's death didn't end up affecting him if they were ever friends. I'd totally be up to see a short story of Flame starting to grow fond of Bigtail, and finding him the only dragon there he actually tolerated. I adore this headcanon. We need more sweet ones like this. Kestrel Hart brought up quite an interesting headcanon that I totally can envision. A lot of little kids have that phase where they're like, you're a boy and I'm a girl, so we're boyfriend and girlfriend. Maybe the same thing happened when Sunny and Starflight were very young dragonettes, and Starflight never really came out of it. It would totally explain his sudden interest in her, and how Starflight never really let it go. One Lonely Pigeon commented that if Sunny were to have hatched under the moon, she would have been an empath like Fate Speaker rather than have a Nightwing ability. This is one I totally agree with, as I feel like hybrid Nightwings having actual powers would be extremely rare. Dominant genes come from your mother, and the fact that Thorn is a Sandwing probably made that nearly impossible. But if the possibility for a hybrid to have powers was a thing, I think it's probably super rare. Maybe like a 1 in a million chance, if at all. Cosmo has stated some of the best Wings of Fire headcanons I've ever seen, and one of them being that rainwings can actually inject their venom. However, this is the last resort situation and is only used in a matter where it would be life or death. I'd imagine that this causes near immediate death rather than just burning off scales. Rainwings during Darkstalker's time may have done this, although throughout the years they stopped being as they became less aggressive. Regular rainwings may not even realize they can do it. Cosmo House also commented about mudwings hunting like crocodiles, and I can definitely see this. They could wait under the mud for their prey to come, then snap their jaw and bring the prey down under the mud or murky water. Squiddy Boy Productions mentioned the idea of mudwings being parents for the war, and once it happened, families slowly drifted apart. As dragons got drafted and formed into troops, they didn't seem to have time to care for their eggs anymore. That could explain why their extreme sibling mentality doesn't stretch to their parents. Wolfie Lion Monster commented about mudwings having horns like rams, and I've actually thought about this too. It would make a lot of sense for them to have generally curved horns, just like actual rams in the wild. I also extend this to nightwings. For some reason, I imagine nightwings, like Listener, for example, to have very curved-in horns. I mostly just imagine the nightwing tribe as having tons of different horn types compared to any other. Bursting Rainbow said all of her Wings of Fire royal pattern headcanons, and these are absolutely perfect. I'm going to read all of these because I love them so much. It's the kind of pattern royalty have in each tribe, because we've only ever seen sea wings with royal scales. She's only done them for a few tribes, but these are just so cool. Sea wings would have the same royal pattern on their wings, night wings would have faded stars on the back of their legs, rain wings would have stripes everywhere just like tigers, sand wings would have snake-like markings, and lastly, ice wings would have snowflake pattern across their body like freckles. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you to everyone who submitted their headcanons. I had so much fun reading all of your creative ideas. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.